lying, unclean. The next descendant is the Nubian. And you see, the Nubians, he said, who are you? I'm the Nubian. It means that ancient Egypt is lying unclean in the time of God. When my group went over into Egypt in 1992, a plane landed in Cairo, Egypt. And when we landed in Cairo, Egypt, the Nubians, as we sent this airplane, began to greet us. Americans! Americans! I'm Nubian. You're my Nubian cousin. I said, wait, hold it. I said, I am an ancient Egyptian. And you're my ancient Egyptian cousin. He says, no, I'm Nubian. Now that told me that this Nubian living in Egypt, waking up every morning looking at the greatest edifice that's ever been built on earth, and the pyramid, don't identify with ancient Egypt. And he is either a Christian or he's a Muslim. Damn shame. Now you think about that. And this ring, I have my wedding band that my wife gave me. On this wedding band is a ring of honor. It's like it's beautiful. The brother right here in New York named Shamal made this ring for my wife. And when he went to Egypt, you remember you see in those books depicting the ancient Egyptians, you see the ark that the ancient Egyptians carried. He carried one from Egypt when he was there. He said that the Nubians came up to him and asked him, what's that? What's that? Let's see. They didn't even know. Listen, the Nubians over there in Egypt is worse off than the Negroes here. They live over there looking at the Sphinx and the pyramids every day. They don't even know who they are. Won't claim it. So ancient Egypt is lying in the continent of Africa unclaimed because the descendant has been taught away from ancient Egypt. We in this country, in North America, been taught that we were Negroes. Then we began to call ourselves black, and we're proud to be black. Okay? And then Jesse Jackson came along and said we are African Americans, and so forth. So here we are today.
Confusing
still
people.
Black, still an African American, and still a Negro. So where are you going with this?
Right.
Where are you going with it? You're going back to slavery. See? Going back to slavery. Black History Month, they call it Black History Month, February. Did he tell you that we are descendants of ancient Egyptians? Did he tell you that? Tell you about Sojourner Truth. She's a great woman. I'm not taking that away from her. But we need to find our way back to ancient Egypt. We need to find our way back to ancient Egypt to claim our greatness.
Mm-hmm.
We need to claim that. We need to find our way back to our own personal spirituality. You understand that? You understand those two phases that are outlined for you when you are ready for the future. Okay? Right. Now, I wrote this book. My latest book. Both books, The Historical Origin of Christianity and The Historical Origin of Islam. This is my latest book. I started yesterday for the very first time in Chicago. Okay? The Historical Origin of Islam. Okay? A very important book. You should buy the book and read the book and study that book. I'm not saying it to make money. You need that. I'm saying it, the message in there for you us as a people. That's all I write for, the African community in America and throughout the world. But now, if we are ready to go into Islam, Christianity, and I can touch on the historical origin of Judaism, I'm ready to do that. Is that what you want? Christianity is the world's first and oldest religion on earth, Christianity. Now you got to remember now, during the time of antiquity, the word antiquity means ancient time. There was no religion, no place on planet Earth. No religion.
Real quick, this is Tom Grieve, defense attorney and former state prosecutor, and I'm here to tell you about a great event from the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. We're hosting a 100...
See? Your ancestors, our ancestors, ancient Egyptians, were taught by the universe. They were students of the universe. Today you have universities, is that correct? Where do you think they got the name for university? From the universe. They were the first students of the universe. They were used as human instruments, just like your mother and your father were used to bring each and every one of you into the world in human form. The ancient Egyptians were used as human instruments by the creator-creatress. You notice I say creator-creatress because that gives balance. That's cosmic balance. You see? Cosmic balance. Like I tell the brothers, don't come up here and say hotel. That's one-sided, off balance. That's male. Bring the female. Me'at hotel. Female. They were used as human instruments to bring forth all of civilization for all of mankind. So everything that you see around you came from that culture and civilization. Are you following me? Everything that you use, paper, pen, ink, furniture, living in brick buildings, eating utensils, mathematics, science, everything came from that one culture, the ancient Egyptians. See?
Facts.
You have to understand that. That's how come we are so great as a people, because our ancestors left us an immortal legacy for us to identify with to be great. See? Listen. I have a sweatshirt and a t-shirt that I wear that I made up personally. I didn't wear it tonight. But some of those t-shirts and sweatshirts I have made up, where they go to tuck edge. Some of them have the pyramid and the sphinx there. You see? And right across up here, across my chest, it says, I love my African ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. And I got it on my back when I turn around. You get you from the back. See? And I love my African ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. You see? I'm not playing, I'm serious. I used to have a museum in Chicago. I started the world's first ancient Egyptian museum put up that I know of by a descendant of the ancient Egyptians. I had it for 11 years right in Chicago. I'm serious. Now, what happened, things began to change and get off balance when the Europeans came into Egypt. When Alexander the Great came into Egypt, he wanted our ancestors to worship him in their institutions, their sacred institutions. Because when they came in, they saw all this great and grand glorious civilization, culture that these Africans made. Wow. What the hell? How did they do this? He wanted to be a part of that. But in order to be a part of that, he had to be accepted into the ancient Egyptian sacred society. You see? He had to sit on the throne of Isis. You do not sit on the throne of Isis, you have no authority in ancient Egypt. Because sitting on the throne of Isis is sitting in the lap of Isis, on her lap. See? That gave you the authority to be the Pharaoh or the governor of ancient Egypt. See that? They wanted that. But they didn't accept foreigners into their priest society. So Ptolemy I, Lagi, his successor, after he died in 323, came and took over Egypt. And he became
Morning, bro.
the ruler
All right.
of ancient Egypt. And he wanted to get himself accepted into the priest society. They didn't allow that. So what he did, he went and found a temple in Memphis, Egypt, that took two of their gods, or their deities, Osiris and Apis, the bull representative of Ra, and made a composite of them. Those two names. And gave this Greek Ptolemy the name of Osiris or Serapis.
Pay attention, y'all.
And when that happened, he says, okay, can I come into your sacred society now? He said, no. Do not allow foreigners into our sacred society because they handpicked their own African kind to come in the first damn place. So what he did, he closed down all of the temples throughout Egypt. Every one of them, except the one in Memphis, Egypt. And he confiscated all of their ancient Egyptian divine scroll manuscripts and housed them into that temple in Memphis, Egypt. I'm talking about history now. Not tradition, history. His grandson, Ptolemy III, you get his one, in the year 240 BC, built a temple in Alexandria, Egypt, for the worship of Serapis. Okay? Now this image that we know today as Jesus Christ, that image was known as Serapis then. It's all in the See? And he built this temple in Alexandria, Egypt, for the worship of the Serapis. And next to that temple, he built an annex building. You know what that annex building is called today? It's called the Great Library of Egypt. See? And he took all those divine scroll manuscripts from that temple in Memphis, Egypt, that his grandfather had put there, after he closed down all the temples throughout Egypt, and housed them right there in this library. And that's what made it the Great Library of Egypt. Not the damn lie that they tell you that Aristotle, the teacher of Alexander, wrote hundreds of books, and Alexander housed Aristotle's book in the Great Library. No. It's in the book. I'm telling you this. Now, let's move a little further in history.
Moving right along. Right?
About this image that we know today as Jesus the Christ. You had two factions. You had the Melkite Coptic Egyptians. Those were the Uncle Toms of antiquity. They were right there with the Greeks. Yasodol. And then you had the grassroots, exterior Copts, like we are. See? The Melkites wanted our grassroots, or us grassroots Coptic Egyptians, to accept this image that we know today as Jesus Christ, being known as the Serapis. us to accept it. We said, no, no. See? Now, I'm going to jump in history. We come up to the time of a Coptic Egyptian by the name of Arius. We're going to come up to the time of the donation of Constantine. We're going to come up to the time of the Dionysius Schismatic controversy. We're going to come up to the time of Arius. All three, the Dionysius Schismatic controversy, the donation of Constantine, and the strong statement by Arius, know that happened? That brought about the Council of Nicaea I, or the Nicene Council, is called to come about. That's in my book. I'm the only scholar that I know of that's telling you what caused and what brought about the Nicene Council. Those three historical events, the Dionysius Schismatic controversy, the donation of Constantine, and the strong statement by Arius. When Constantine gave and enticed Sylvester I, a Coptic Egyptian, to accept this image that we know today as Jesus Christ, then known as the Creator, as God. When he enticed him to do that, says, if you accept this image, the Creator, I will give you all of my imperial emblems. I will put you in charge of all of your people, the Coptic Egyptians. In other words, I will make you the head HNIC.
You
know that is. Okay, that's what he told me to do. So he accepted that. Arius said, no. Arius said that this image that you have accepted, Sylvester, is a created creature. Dissimilar from the Father. Now, who is the Father? The Father is Osiris. You see? And you go back to the ancient Egyptian divine triad. Who is the father in that? Osiris.
Osiris.
Right?
Right.
Who is the mother? Isis. The Holy Hathor cow mother. Who is the son? Horus Jr., the S-U-N.
Yeah.
This thing here is the S-O-N.
Not S-O-N.
See? They tell you that Jesus is the Son of Man. You ever heard that phrase? That's true. Man created this thing called Jesus the Christ. You see that? Because man cannot create anything with life in it by himself. So therefore, anything that man creates has to be a creature without life.
Facts.
So this thing was created. It's known today as Jesus the Christ. And they call the council called the Council of Nicaea I, or the Nicene Council, to come to order. In and at that council meeting, they went into the ancient Egyptian divine triad, and they took Horus Jr. out, the S-U-N, and they inserted this European image, the S-O-N, in there. Then you go up 51 years later, 381, to the next council meeting called the Council of Constantinople I. This is all history I'm talking about.
Facts. All facts.
At the Council of Nicaea I, they created what is known as the Homogeneous Creed, or the Nicene Creed. The Nicene Creed goes like this. God the Father, God the Son, the same. You see? That's the Homogeneous. That's the Nicene Creed. So in 381, at the Council of Constantinople I, this all happened in Turkey. It's called the Middle East. That's a misnomer, because the Middle East is actually Northeast Africa. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So at the Council of Constantinople I, they made the Homogeneous Creed of God the Father, God the Son, the creed of the Byzantine Roman Empire. Now, let's modulate a little further in history and come up to the Third Ecumenical Council, the most important council meeting that has ever been called on planet Earth. That council meeting was called, why? Because The monophysite. The monophysite is an individual who says that this Jesus the Christ has a Osiris-like spirit, but no human nature. Do you hear me? No human nature. That's the argument. So how does one get a human nature? You have to be born through the body of a female.
Facts.
See that?
Facts.
So what these Melkite Uncle Toms did, they went right to the ancient Egyptian divine triad. And guess who they took out of that triad? Isis. Took Isis out of there. And they created another created creature called the Virgin Mary to replace Isis, the ancient Egyptian divine triad. Giving this created creature, the Virgin Mary, the title of Theotokos. The word Theotokos means the mother of God. God who? Talking about this Serapis that is known to us today as Jesus the Christ. Then they took the two created creatures, Serapis, and the other created creature, the supposed mother, called the Virgin Mary, with her title of Theotokos, and they amalgamated the two created creatures together. And when that happened, this is supposed to give this created creature, Serapis, known to us today as Jesus Christ, a human nature. See that? Very clever. See? And when that happened, the Melkite Coptic Egyptian says that now, this is the anointed one. This is the Christos. Remember now, those Coptic Egyptians were speaking Greek, because the Greek language was forthcoming. So in English, Christos means the Christ. Now this is the Christ. Okay? Then you go to the fourth council meeting, the Council of Chalcedon. And what they did there, they've tried to consummate what took place at the Council of Ephesus 20 years prior. So now we're going to end all argument about whether this Christ has a human nature or not. We're going to end it. So they're supposed to have ended the argument at the Council of Chalcedon. And that, at the close of the Council of Chalcedon in 451, that was supposed to begin the very beginning history of Christianity. Because they call that Orthodox Christianity began. See that? And then you go up to the fifth council, all this is in my book, The Historical Origin of Christianity. You go up to that fifth council meeting, and you will find the building of the world's first Christian church. You know what the name of that church is? The Hagia Sophia. And if you ask a Christian, I don't care what depth of Christianity or what layer of Christianity that he may be in, you ask him about, have you ever heard of the Church of Hagia Sophia? He said, no. Okay? Now, my wife, Arnetta, in The Historical Origin of Islam, wrote a profound chapter on what happened to the Church of Hagia Sophia. Dynamite. So if the church, the world's first Christian church, the Hagia Sophia, built in 532, finished 5 years later in 537, built by Justinian and his wife Theodora, the Byzantine emperor. But it was the Coptic Egyptians who built it. Because the Europeans didn't know about building no building. It was the Coptic Egyptians who built it. They designed the building. And that building is still standing today. There it is right here. Got 4 minarets on that today. But this picture here, in the background, is the Church of Hagia Sophia, built in Constantinople, Turkey. Okay? And built by those Africans, those Melkite Coptic Egyptians. Now, Coptic, the word Coptic Egyptian, you know what that means? A descendant of the ancient Egyptians. That's what the word Coptic means. So if you hear that word Coptic Egyptian, I'm talking about a descendant of the ancient Egyptians. You see? So they built it. And guess what? The Hagia Sophia not only became the world's first Christian church, it became the world's first university for the Europeans. That was his center of learning. Not what George James tell you that the Greeks studied with the ancient Egyptians. No. How can they study with the ancient Egyptians? They had no writing system. That's never been an institution that ever came out of Greece during the time of antiquity. The ancient Egyptians never took any foreigners into their sacred society. They handpicked their own African kind. When they took the Greeks in, they would have to teach the Greeks A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. That right there. So now, here you have the first university for Europeans. That's all in my book, Historical Origins of Christianity. Teaching the Europeans. And you know, the teaching staff was made up of all Melkite Coptic Egyptian Africans. The Africans were their teachers. The Coptic Egyptians were their teachers. See? It was no Rome. Didn't have no Vatican back then. The Vatican was created when they built St. Peter's Church in 1445 over the catacombs on the outskirts of Rome. That's the way it is today. That church, the St. Peter's Basilica and the Vatican over there is only about 558 or 59 years old. That's all it is. 558 years old. That's all. The first seat of Christianity was in Africa, in the Hagia Sophia. It lasted. The Hagia Sophia fell in 1453 when Muhammad II came in and took a cannon and blew holes in the double-walled city of Constantinople and went in and seized Constantinople and seized the Hagia Sophia. This is history.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
But between these two books, you'll get that information. Now, here comes Islam. Dun, 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 dun. Islam.
Cracking heads over
Christianity, there's never been a man that ever walked the earth in human form, been erased, creed, or color by the name of Jesus Christ, never existed. Now, I have a $5,000 award to give to anybody that's been erased, creed, or color, including the Pope, that can repudiate me. When I said there's never been a Jesus Christ that's been erased, creed, or color. But you have to write it out in a repudiating manuscript. Don't walk up to me and tell me about what you believe and what you have faith in and try to use your emotions to make what you believe and have faith in right. I didn't do that in my book, Historical Origins of Christianity. There's not one biblical references in that book. Not one. So you have to use the discipline of history like I did. Use the discipline of history. Put down how, why, and when Jesus Christ walked the earth, the way it came from, and so forth and so on. Tell me. Write it out. And you can get your $5,000. I'll be glad to give you $5,000. But you can't do it. You know why they can't do it? That challenge has been out there for 10 years. You know why they can't? They won't take it? Nobody can take it. I mean, who's supposed to know why? Because you cannot take your belief in what you have faith in and write it on paper using the discipline of history to prove that Jesus Christ walked this earth. You can't do that. Now, I have the same thing, same award to be given to anybody from the race, creed, or color. When I'm saying, in this book, there's never been a man that ever walked the earth in human form by the name of the Prophet Muhammad of tradition. Never existed. Okay? Now, when I was saying that about the Christians, the Muslims say, yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, brother. As soon as I said about the Prophet Muhammad, they have a baby with a bonnet. They jump up like cheetah. Remember little cheetah in Tarzan? They jump up like cheetah. You understand me? What do you mean? You know, you crazy. You know, and all that other kind of stuff. You know, I was giving an lecture one day in Chicago, and the brother, he was a Muslim. He said, I was saying there's no Prophet Muhammad. He said, you should be ashamed of yourself telling these people all these lies. I said, okay, young man. I said, tell you what you do. You come down and get up on the podium, and you point out what lies I'm telling to the people, and you put what's right in its place. You don't see. I can tell you that you're wrong, but I'm going to put something what's right in its place. That's it, isn't it? I can't say, oh, you're wrong, and leave it at that. Why am I wrong? Okay, what do you have to say that I'm wrong? What you have to put in this place? I ask that, call him a Negro. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what my definition of a Negro is. I asked him 4 times. I said, come on up here. He wouldn't do it. And he got mad, and he called me a nigger and walked out. I became a nigger. Okay, fine. But anyway, here we have this faceless white man on a camel called the Prophet Muhammad. And in this book, I walk you through why there's no Muhammad. Now, I'm going to tell you something that may shock you.
And amazing.
Islam, I want you to understand this now very carefully. Islam is a religion that's based upon a book called the Quran. Mm-hmm. If you do not have the book called the Quran, you cannot have Islam. Simple as that.
That's a fact.
See? Now, before the book called Islam came about, there was Mohammedanism. Mm-hmm. See that?
Listen, y'all, listen.
But not Islam. See? But the Muslims they want to investigate. Now, they believe that the angel Gabriel taught the Prophet Muhammad the Quran. I told you about that, didn't I? Right.
Tell them again.
Both been in the 7th century. Okay? Now,